Good morning, beautiful people. I'm just waiting on a job, stuck here. So I thought I'd have a quick conversation, quick moon, quick rant, quick sharing of observations. So I seen that diabolical Dalek Kier Starmer. That man. If he is a man, you know what? I don't buy into like all the silly far out conspiracy theories, but if somebody presented the idea that that man is a robot, an actual robot, you know what? I would be easily convinced. In fact, I might even start that one off if it's not going about already. Kier Starmer, he's got to be a robot. Something very robotic about that man. He scares me. He scares me, and not in a scary way, and just in a his blandness. He just oozes blandness like I've never seen before. It's so bland and dull and expressionless, soulless. I think he's a machine. But anyway, I seen that machine doing his presentation, going around talking about these digital IDs, and it's comical. It actually is comical, even though he's so bland and boring. He's the whole presentation thing, and it's just also phony and cheesy, and they got these people nodding along, and I don't know if they're actors or just fellow robots or what, but he's trying to convince them that the digital ID is to make our life easier. That's what he's saying. Which just beggars belief, you know. Like, so they're gonna put a situation in where you need more identification to go about your daily lives, but that's going to make your life easier. I mean, wouldn't life be easier if you know, the cost of living wasn't so bad and they stopped raising the taxes, stopped putting further restrictions on anything? Every car park I go to used to be free, is now paid to go in, you know? I'm trying to get my van back on the road right now, and it's off-road, and gets to the point where the repairs are worth more than the vehicle. How does that work? How do we live in a world where that's possible? So wouldn't life be easier if that wasn't the case? You know? In fact, I can apply the problems with my vehicle to this DGID scenario, because what we got here is, I never heard of it before, but I've had failed on my emissions. And it's something to do with the DPF or something, which I never heard of. I don't know cars, I'm not good with that kind of stuff. But anyway, since hearing about it, I've heard loads of people having this problem. It seems to be a common problem. This DPF is an emissions monitor, and it creates as many problems as it solves, and it actually hinders the performance of your vehicle. So basically, that's kind of like a carbon tracker. Do you know what I mean? Which has been put in place to monitor you and make sure you operate at a certain level. But as a consequence of this carbon monitor thing on my vehicle, because I've failed it, my vehicle has been basically written off, which has denied me access to work. So I've had my access denied because I've been off-road now for about a month, because I failed my MOT and the garages don't seem to know what to do about it, other than get a new thing, DPF, whatever, which is like loads and loads of money. And it's getting to the point where I'm spending more money on my vehicle than I'm making from it, you know. But anyway, that's just, so there's a pattern there, and I think that's related, because that is like government regulations that's been put onto something which creates an expense. It's not making your life easier, it's making my life harder. And from all accounts, from looking into this since, a lot of people are having that same problem. People get it removed, and people are failing because of it, and yeah. So that's just an example. So anyway, this diabolical Dalek that he is there waffling on about how it's going to make your life easier, and how it won't be tied to social credit and all this stuff, and how there's laws in place. But he's talking shit, because you can see how it's not just the ID, everything else is falling into place. The banks are coming out with these carbon trackers now, and also the powers to remove your money and stuff. And I'm seeing stuff on food packaging with the carbon trackers and stuff. So it's all falling into place. I know how you believe it's just a coincidence, but even if it is just a coincidence, it's telling, you know? And I don't think it is just a coincidence. I don't believe in coincidences. In fact, talking to coincidences, here's a coincidence. Because I've said before in previous videos how I liken stuff that's going on in videos to, not videos, in movies to like an indicator of what's going on in the world. Oh, sorry, I gotta go. Right, sorry about that. I had to get on with the job I was waiting for. But anyway, I shall proceed to carry on where I left off. So I was saying coincidences, funny coincidences in the movie world that I feel relate. So yeah, I've got this premise of the movies and their releases, whether by plan or synchronicity, one way or the other, coincidence any which way, meaningful coincidence, seem to parallel what's going on in the world. And funnily enough, I seen this trailer months and months ago. When I seen the trailer for this film, it sent a little shiver down my spine. I just had a sense, oh, this is, I don't know, something scary about it. It actually made me feel a bit fearful. And I guess it kind of makes sense now with the timing of when it's come out, because obviously at that point when I seen the trailer, I had no idea it was going to come out completely coinciding with the digital ID announcement, but it has. So that film is Tron. And for anybody who's not familiar with Tron, I mean, there's a other Tron that's on TV at the moment, and the premise of Tron is the digital world. I think the previous ones, the man's gone inside the computer, and now this one, Tron Ares, and Ares is a funny title because Ares is like he's like the Greek god of war, I think. I'm not an expert on Greek mythology and all that kind of stuff, but I think I'm pretty sure that's the case. He's the Greek god of war. So Tron Ares is like Tron War as such. You could make that parallel. But yeah, I think this film, from what I saw in the trailer, looks like the computer entities are coming into our world. It's funny because I didn't even make that. I'm just doing this spontaneously, so I didn't even. I began this conversation saying Kier Starmer might be a robot, but you know what? I think people go about digital IDs and all the social credit and the hacking and the safety and the privacy and all that stuff is very relevant, and that's completely what we need to be conscious of. That's the real world issues. But from a bigger picture, and I think this is why I got that sense of fear when I seen the Tron advert, because I've always seen the bigger picture here. The bigger picture here is transhumanism. The bigger picture here is man merging with machine. And that's what gave me that sense of fear when I seen that Tron advert anyway. It's like, I said, I see these movies as adverts for where we're at and where we're going, for better or for worse. And the Tron just gave me that sense of like, yeah, the man and the machine thing is really being pushed in this. And I don't know, it's just something about the nature of how the trailer presented it. It just gave me a feeling of unease. And coincidentally, now we're being pitched into this digital world on a next level, which is what this digital ID represents. You got this Tron Ares trailer. Well, not in the trailer, sorry. The film is being released. So the film release has completely coincided with the digital ID announcement. Literally within like the same month. So make of that what you will, but that's a funny coincidence for me, knowing what this digital ID really represents, which is transhumanism and the merging of man with machine, and that's the danger. And maybe that's why they got robots like Starmer. But any which way, that man is a robot. I'm joking when I say he's really a robot, but he is actually a robot, because a robot is not necessarily. If you look up the dictionary term for a robot, I think people think of robots like it's got to be made of metal with electric and all that kind of stuff. But no, a robot is merely a thing that performs tasks. So a human being that doesn't question and just performs the tasks at hand is a robot. So Kier Starmer, any which way, he's a robot. He's a droid. C3PO. And yeah, the robot thing just troubles me, because that's the whole point of a digital ID and a digital avatar, is to operate in a digital world. That is Tron. And this is what Tron is about, is going into the digital world. So yeah, make of that what you will. Funny coincidence. Just like say another trailer I seen. This is, I don't know when this one's out, but I keep seeing another trailer which I feel is relevant, and it is a trailer for a remake of The Running Man. Now, I remember the old Running Man with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I watched that not too long ago. It's scary actually, because I remember these science fiction films as like previews of the future, and the thing that struck me when I watched Running Man is a lot of it was very telling. But actually, the film is so old now that the future that they was presenting in that film was actually already the past in terms of the date or the timeline. I can't remember exactly what the timeline was, but I remember watching it thinking, last time I watched this, it was the future, whereas now I'm watching this film presenting the future, yet the date is actually already past. It was like earlier than the 2020. Like I said, I can't remember the exact date. But anyway, they're remaking this Running Man. And do you ever wonder why they remake certain films? Because I think people probably think there's just a lack of imagination in Hollywood and so forth. Maybe there is, but I think that there's another factor as to why they remake these films. I think the Running Man story just needs to be told again, because it's presenting an idea that's completely relevant to where we're at and where we're going. So obviously I haven't seen this new Running Man, and it looks a bit different, but it's the same premise. It's similar to like the Hunger Games and those kind of ideas, this dystopia. So yeah, that's another trailer that I think is telling us coming out right now. And obviously there's no shortage. I said before, these dystopian science fiction films, they're all the same idea, the same story. For whatever reason, they're presenting you the same concept, which I think makes this digital transhumanist dystopia seem like it's just inevitable. You have to question, is it inevitable, or are we just being led to believe that it is? So anyway, that was it. Yeah, got to stay on our toes, people. I said before about presenting some solutions, and I think the solutions are very simple, even though people won't like them. But the merging of us into the digital world is the plan. So the solution is to detach yourself from it. You know, simple. So use cash. Got to use cash now. You know, look, you see these carbon trackers and all this kind of stuff where the bank is basically monitoring all your spending and tallying it up to like a daily allowance, and that's some scary stuff there. But they can't do that if you use cash. So that's a no-brainer. Use cash as much as possible. Disempower the digital world. Watch your phone. You know, I've had this scenario with my phone. Like, keep on having, you know, I said about my MOT with my van and stuff. I had a conversation on my phone to a friend, and he brought up a DPF and all that kind of stuff. And then literally, I went onto Facebook a bit later, and I got this guy coming up with some adverts for DPF carbon cleans. I've never been on Facebook and put anything on Facebook about DPF carbon cleans. So that means that Facebook is listening to my phone calls. I had it the other day where I had a conversation about some MOT or something, and then I went onto Google, and Google News, the first thing was some news story about an MOT thing. Once again, I didn't Google this, so Google is spying on my phone calls. I would suggest it's listening to you. It's not even like typing. It's not even like a Cookie Monster thing. It's actually just listening and making suggestions. So it's listening. You know, this NatWest Bank thing, the carbon tracker. It's watching. It's giving you the option to opt out at the moment. But whether you opt out or not, it's still going to be tracking. It's just you're opting out of whether you see the tracking. It's still tracking you. It's tracking your spending. It's tallying you up and your general way of life and how it sees fit to tell you how to go about your business. That's what's coming with that. So yeah, start using cash, people. Start using your phone less. You know, stop using all this AI, because that's another thing that it's creeping in. Talk about science fiction and the dystopia. I can't go on YouTube about an advert for AI this, AI that, AI. It's just AI everything. You know, even I said before, like my big distraction. I play on a computer game of FC 25-26 football game, and it's just all AI now, and the AI is actually ruining it. It's not fun anymore. It's like you're kind of like just interacting with the AI and almost like playing second fiddle to having to just watch the AI do everything for you, and playing against it. It's tedious. So the AI thing is danger, and I think the AI is the big looming threat that people need to be more conscious of with this digital ID, because the AI thing is what's holding it all together. That's what's processing the data, and that's what's making it possible, I think. So yeah, don't empower the AI, because the AI is not our friend. You know, it might be the convenience, once again, giving you that quick solution to your problem. I mean, it's a tool, and like all tools, it doesn't necessarily have to be bad, but I think all in all, AI is not in our best interest. And I think there's lots being invested into it, and it just seems to me like a no-brainer that it's not gonna, it's not good. Basically, you know, there's no shortage of those warnings of the AI trying to take over, and maybe it already has. You know, it's another conversation for another day. But I kind of feel like it has been always there. Maybe I don't know. That's we got to deal with the meat and potatoes of this situation. I can delve and dally with the far out stuff, and I kind of like that, and it comes quite natural to me. But maybe that's a conversation for another day. The AI and its place, and where it's at, and where it's been. Because I think you start getting into questions of time and all that kind of stuff, and the nature of reality and what it really is, and it's too deep for right now. But it is relevant, and it is related, and it is a conversation that does need to be had and considered. I think that's the big conspiracy, is people's obsession with the mundane, as if that's all it is, and it's not. There's so much more. But yeah, I gotta go, unfortunately. Talk about making life easier, but life isn't easy. I need to work, I need to earn money, and I got 5 kids to feed. I haven't got 5, but I got kids to feed. Total Recall is another very interesting movie that shows you some stuff. Another one that they remade again, a bit like The Running Man, another R&E science fiction dystopia. Yeah, I put it to you, was remade because there's a content in that needs to be programmed for multiple generations, because it is selling you an idea of inevitability. But anyway, keep saying I gotta go, and I keep going on. Peace and love, everybody. I'll be back.